Can you see that right there? Oh, I'm gonna have to blur out my account number there. That is the bank account for the shipping container build. Now I'm budgeting $100,000 for the shipping container project. Obviously I've spent a little bit for deposits and just some of the prep work, but I'm really aiming for $75,000. Now, the real question in today's video is why did I choose shipping container homes over a tiny house or a tiny home or even an Airstream similar to what Rob does over at the Rob Built channel? Because they all create similar revenue streams, and we're answering that in today's video. Let's talk about it. So you guys know that I've got two build projects going on right now. I've got the shipping container project right here behind us that you can see right over there. And then just on the bottom of this hill to the right is the glamp site, which we'll talk about in a whole nother video. Now in just a few days, 3 days to be exact, there's gonna be 21 8-foot deep, 3 feet wide holes for the pier foundation that we're gonna be using for the shipping container project. Now I got crews working all next week trying to bust this out before the rain hits. Now, if this is something that interests you and you wanna learn more and see the whole project unfold, both the glamp site and the container project, be sure to subscribe to the channel because only about 15% of you guys actually are subscribed right now. And then be sure to hit that bell button because for some reason, YouTube will not recommend these videos to you if you don't hit that bell button. And I think that you wanna watch this unfold as we build out from the ground up. And if videos aren't enough for you, remember you can book a consultation with me where we can go over your specific build project or potential build project, investments, permitting, financing, and all the little tips and tricks of the industry in the field of like what we're doing right here. And maybe you can apply it to your own income property. Email just down in the description. All right, let's go inside because it is cold. Now, when it comes to business and especially in short-term rentals or vacation rentals, being different is better than being better. Now, I talked a lot about this in my previous videos, but what I'm trying to get at here is being unique, especially in this space. And although shipping container homes have been this big trend hitter, or maybe fad, I won't get those two confused, trend and fad, is that I know it's still very different to have a container home. And actually in my area, there's only really about 5, maybe 6, it's a very small handful of actual legitimate shipping container homes. Now, if you compare that to the several hundreds, if not thousands of Airbnbs and rentals in the area, it's just a tiny drop in the bucket. And at the end of the day, I'd rather compete with only 5 other people than several thousands. Now, when it comes to creating an income property, whether you want to do it long-term in a duplex or doing something crazy like a tree house for short-term renting and vacation rentals, providing value to the customer is always the keystone. I know it's a worn-out saying in business and on YouTube is create value, build value, but it really is something. When a customer or a guest comes, they are looking for value. That's why they're paying you money or giving me money to stay at one of my properties. But if you or I can do something that can still provide that value and a very different and unique experience, that's where customers will come to you and actually pay you more. And that's why I like uniqueness. Lumber and labor is through the roof right now. Now you guys gotta remember, I did build this house and I finished it up just about 2.5, maybe 3 years ago. And at that time, between now and then, literally lumber prices have gone up by about 50 to 75%, depending if you get PT, which is pressure treated lumber, or just raw lumber, and labor has doubled. And a large reason behind this is not only just because construction has gone up, but when the pandemic hit, all factories and facilities and build projects basically went on hold for a solid 2 to 3 months. I couldn't even get PT lumber when I was doing my siding project outside. Now I'm telling you all of this is because the cost of traditionally building a stick-built home right now for me to buy materials is actually more expensive than buying containers. Now, don't get me wrong, containers have gone up in price a little bit, about 40% in my area. I do live along the coast, so I have easy access to it. But that 40% is far less than the 100+% in both labor and materials for wood, lumber, traditional building products, and getting the right crews onto the job site. Proof of concept is something that's very standard in business, and especially in real estate where it's kind of hard to do because you usually have to buy a big chunk of land or a house before you actually prove out an actual concept. But here in this case, I can actually take a very relatively low risk, $100,000 as low risk, to prove out an idea to see if I can cash flow and how profitable this experiment really is. We like to call it rapid prototyping, but in this case, that's what I'm doing. Before I go out and spend $500,000 on a whole another piece of raw land and another maybe $100,000, $200,000 building out that piece of property, this is a great way to invest a relatively small amount of money, go through the kinks, learn from my mistakes, and figure everything out before I go out there and drop a large sum of money, which actually actually leads in perfectly into the next reason. By doing this build and going through the permitting office, getting the inspections, the structural engineering, and everything signed off on it, is that it becomes a real structure. And when I say real, what I really mean is that I can actually value it with the property itself. Typically, if you build a shop or a guest house or anything like that, it's not permitted. Basically, you make $0 on it. You might have a cool place to rent out or live in, but when it comes time to sell, the county, the city, sellers and buyers, or agents and buyers, don't really consider it because it's not permitted, meaning that it's an illegal residence. But in this case, we're making a legal residence, which increases the equity inside the home or inside the property as a whole. And the really cool thing is because I'm building it out of shipping containers, I could technically in the future, if I wanted to move it, I could just basically move each container. It's very modular to a new site if I wanted to. I doubt I will though. But you never know. I'm kind of crazy when it comes to that type of stuff. So I'm estimating that this shipping container should cost me $75,000. I'm budgeting $100,000. And in reality, I really believe that it will increase the value of the property between $150,000 to $200,000. It will build me that much equity, but that's on top of the monthly cash flows that I'm expecting between $4,000 to $5,000 each and every month. And the next reason is that I think it looks real pretty. Yeah, that's right. It's just the aesthetics of it. It's a personal preference, and I really think it looks super fly, hot, sick, awesome, whatever adjective you want to use, that's what I think of it. And at the end of the day, it's just a personal preference of where you want to put your money and what can give you the best return, but also what's your style. And in the last few years, other people have shown that they like that style too, and they're willing to pay for it. And so it's a win-win for me. I've learned in the last 15, 16 years is to invest in what you're good at, what people want, and what makes you happy. And this shipping containers makes me happy in a really weird way. Not that weird of a way though. It's just, I think they're really cool and they're fun to work with. And then the last thing is really restrictions, where we've talked about state laws, county laws, city laws. There's also neighborhood laws. So this road right here, it's actually considered a long private driveway. It's about a mile long and it has about 10 homes on it. All of us neighbors that live off of it, we actually take care of the road. And part of it, we have an agreement. And it basically says what we can and can't keep on our properties. And the reason behind that is because we all want to protect our property value. And because of that, in our bylaws, we can't have unattached structures such as a tiny home or an Airstream or an RV that somebody's living or going in and out of for an extended period of time. I think it's 5 or 6 days that they can't be there consecutively. But if you want to get and understand more of how to get in these build projects, the permitting, the financing, the finding the land, or even strategizing what's best for you to build these income properties that are a little bit unique, a little bit different, but can cash flow significant amount of money each and every month, then consider subscribing to the channel, hitting that bell button so my videos pop up in your feed. And if you really want to get into it and videos aren't enough, set up a consultation time with me. Emails down below. As always, help me out with the YouTube algorithm, hit that like button, and share this video with somebody who you think will enjoy it and like it, maybe benefit from it, and maybe find some value. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video. I love you guys all. See ya. Peace out.